Zinare thought she had found the perfect restaurant. It looked luxurious, served delicious meals, and everyone loved it. But behind one ordinary-looking door was a secret that would change her life forever. But to understand how she got here, we have to go back to the beginning. Zinare had one habit she never questioned. She ate every single meal outside her home. Breakfast at cafes, lunch at restaurants, dinner wherever looked interesting. Cooking never crossed her mind. Her roommate, Torella, couldn't understand why. Every evening, delicious homemade meals filled the apartment with inviting aromas. Why waste money eating outside every day? Torella often asked. Zinare always laughed. Restaurants are easier, she would reply. What Torella didn't know was that Zinare had never been taught to cook. Her parents were always busy chasing success. Money replaced family dinners. Every meal came from outside. Slowly, eating out became her normal life. Years later, work transferred her to another city. A fresh beginning awaited her. She quickly became known for discovering the best restaurants in town. Then someone unexpected entered her life. His name was Draven. Their friendship grew surprisingly fast. Zinare believed she had finally found happiness. One Saturday, Draven visited her apartment. He smiled and made one simple request. "I'd love to taste your cooking," he said. Zinare's smile disappeared instantly.
Draven smiled as he placed the groceries on the kitchen counter. He had been looking forward to tasting Zinare's homemade meal. Zinare's heart began to race. She stared at the stove as though she had never seen one before. After several moments of silence, she finally admitted the truth. "I'm sorry, Draven. I don't know how to cook." Draven wasn't upset. He simply couldn't understand how someone so accomplished had never learned such a basic skill. He encouraged her to learn, but Zinare brushed it aside and suggested ordering food instead. Draven respected her decision, but something about that moment stayed with him. Life moved on, and Zinare returned to what she knew best. Then one afternoon, she discovered a restaurant everyone seemed to be talking about. The building was elegant, the service was excellent, even the prices seemed unbelievable. Zinare instantly fell in love with the place. Before long, the staff knew her favorite meal by heart. Weeks passed without a single complaint. Then, during a busy afternoon at work, she ordered lunch as usual. Everything seemed normal until the final few bites. Something unusual caught her eye. Her appetite disappeared immediately. She threw the food away and convinced herself it was just an unfortunate mistake. 3 days later, she woke up with unbearable stomach pain. Within hours, she was lying in a hospital bed. The doctor's words stayed in her mind long after she left the hospital. "Never judge food safety by appearance alone," the doctor warned. Zinare promised herself she would be more careful, but habits built over a lifetime are difficult to change. 1 week later, she returned to the restaurant. This time she wasn't there just to eat. She wanted answers. Waited until the hallway was empty before quietly walking toward the swinging kitchen door. Her heart pounded as she gently pushed the door open just enough to see inside. What she saw made her blood run cold. Dirty plates were stacked high beside the cooking area, and food scraps covered the floor. Raw meat had been left uncovered while flies gathered around it. The cooks moved from one meal to another without washing their hands or cleaning their work surfaces. Stained aprons, overflowing trash bins, and greasy countertops surrounded the kitchen. In that moment, Zinare realized that the beautiful dining room had hidden an ugly truth. Fighting back nausea, she quietly stepped away before anyone noticed she had been there. Outside the restaurant, she could barely breathe. Every meal she had eaten there flashed through her mind. For the first time, she understood exactly what Torella had been trying to tell her all along. That evening, Zinare returned home with a decision she had never imagined making. She apologized to Torella for refusing every piece of advice she had given her. Instead of criticizing her, Torella simply smiled and welcomed her into the kitchen. The next morning, they visited the local market together to buy fresh ingredients and basic cooking utensils. Zinare's first attempt at cooking was far from perfect. The food wasn't as beautiful as the meals she used to order, but she knew one important thing: it was clean. Every evening after work, she practiced a new recipe and learned proper food hygiene along the way. Weeks turned into months, and the woman who couldn't boil water slowly became a confident home cook. Before long, she stopped depending on restaurants and began carrying homemade lunches to work. Her colleagues were surprised by the transformation, and often asked to taste her meals. When Draven heard about the changes she had made, he decided to visit her once again. This time, Zinare welcomed him with a meal she had prepared herself from start to finish. Draven smiled after the very first bite. He wasn't impressed because the meal was perfect, he was impressed because Zinare had chosen to grow. Zinare learned that convenience should never replace responsibility. A beautiful appearance can hide dangerous secrets, but knowledge, patience, and the willingness to change can transform a life. And sometimes, the greatest recipe isn't found in a restaurant, it's learned at home.